Hi guys, this is Gaz at Radiant Silver Labs and welcome back to another tutorial which is based on Codename One this time. I've been doing a lot of Android ones and they're definitely getting a lot of attention, and these Codename One tutorials are getting a hell of a lot less attention, but I'd like to do them anyway because I believe Codename One is awesome and it is definitely growing, and there's a lack of knowledge around. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, I certainly don't, but this isn't even a tutorial really, just me going to build a screen and talk about it, and we'll see the trials and tribulations that I go through in doing that. And I have made some decent apps in Codename One over the years for various large companies around the world, and even LWUIT stuff, which is the precursor to Codename One. But let's assume you have started your project, you've gone File, New Project, you've selected Codename One project, you've hit Next, you've typed in the right details here, and you've gone through and you've typed your package name, your class name. I'm going to use native theme and hello world visual, and you hit finish and you've got your project, and then you can double click on this res here to launch the Codename One designer, which I already have running here. And then usually I keep my thing I'm trying to build on the right there. And that is a login screen, so what I'm going to do is click add a new GUI element and type login. And I'm going to attempt to build this screen now, and I haven't used Codename One for a long time. I've been coding Android exclusively, and well, on Unity as well actually, but here we go. Now I've already added some of the files that I need because I was working on this before I realized there was going to be it's going to be a tutorial. So what I'm going to do is delete unused images. Okay, we're going to start again, I guess, but I think some of them are still there. Anyway, so we want the background right first, and I remember I used to make everything, if possible, into a border layout right at the beginning, because that means you can drag a container in like this, and you can call that container center, and you can actually specify their center in the layout constraint. That'll be the center one, and you can do north, east, south, west like swing. But for now, let's put the background in. Alright, so you want to go to UIID, and I'm going to call it form login. Press enter. Now the background has just appeared because of something I did already, but alright, I'm going to change that. I'm going to call it form underscore login, right, just so we don't have anything added. Now I want that image to be the background, so I go to images, quick add multi-images, and you go to the root of your project here. Now this res directory is actually generated by Codename One, and when you go in there, Codename One is doing its thing. What it does is if you add one item like a PNG like that, it will make high HD, high, low, medium, very high, very low versions for each screen size, which it then chooses on the fly as it needs to. For example, if we go into the res here, I already done the logo for the splash. We go into that and that. Now I only give it one image, but Codename One has generated these ones. The HD one, look, you can see the size at the bottom, very large. As I go along, smaller, smaller, and smaller, and they will be picked for, well actually they're not in size order there. They will be picked depending on the screen size we have. So I make a directory called resources we add, not to be confused with their res one, and I put everything in there, which I already have put this background image in there. There it is, background. So when I click open on that, Codename One will ask me what resolution it is. Well, it's not full HD because it would be 1080 by 1900, isn't it? It's actually 639 by 1139. So we'll just leave Codename One to suggest that it's very high, and Codename One will do in the background. We'll make versions for us that are of different size. For example, if we go into the res now, and I already added the background before, so actually it'll be background 1. Oh no, it's not, it's background. Okay, they're in there anyway. Now to set as the background, I want it to scale really and fit properly. So if I click Style, I right click on the form and go to Style here and unselect it, what that will do is take this form login UUID and allow me to style it. Well, I mean, it'll allow me to style that one. And this window is bugged in this release. You have to make it smaller. And I can click Derive there, select the PNG for the background, and set image scaled, which means exactly what it says. It'll scale to any size. So if I make this like really wide, the image will still work, and that's good for backgrounds. Nobody will really know it's being scaled, and the right one will be selected on the right resolution, so it should look good. Right, how do I go about getting these, getting it to look like this? Okay, well what I'm going to do is start with making the center component that I've made inside this border layer. I'm going to change that one to table layout. Keep one column and make a row for every item. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for now. And they'll all be close together, I think, but we can worry about that separation, about the padding and that in a minute. Right, so let's start with that raffle icon at the top. I'll add an image. And I want its icon, which I have actually already added by going to Quick Add Multi-Images, Resources we add, and clicking on that. And when it said very high, I said OK. So because of that, it's in there. Oops. Oops. It does give you a little preview here, but it's kind of hard to see. Or have I removed it? Yeah, I think I removed it. Okay, so I'll do that for real. Quick Add Multi-Images. Open that. Very high is fine. Click on that label and set its icon to what we've just put in. Well, where is it? That lock one. Oh yeah, sometimes that list needs to update. You have to click off and back on, and then go in, and then the list will have it. There it is. So that is a bit of a weird one. Right, it looks okay so far. Possibly a bit big. Now, to get around that, if it's too big, for example, just select any other image and then go up to Images, delete Unused Images. That'll get rid of the one I just added. And then when you add it back, you can actually say it's not HD, it's not very high, it's HD, which means that it'll come into the app smaller because it's HD. Codename One won't make an HD one. That'll be your HD one, and all the images will be smaller, if you know what I mean. Now I can change it and select it there. See, that's a lot better. How do you center that? I'm trying to work that out. Well, let's carry on for now. I'll put in a text field. You can drag and drop things here, but it's quite hard to order them, but you can actually do it. The text field, I'm going to change the hint to email. And I'm going to remove its text. I'm going to copy that. Oops, I'm going to copy that and paste another one. Yep, so now we've got that one, and I'm going to change that one's hint to password. Now I'm going to add the button for the login underneath, so I'll drop a button in there. Try and get it to the bottom. Yeah. Now I think I've already added this item, the login thing. Oh no, I must have deleted it. Okay, so now I want to add the login button. Quick add multi-images. And actually I have a directory called Guys Process. That's me. This directory is to do two things. One, keep a record of images that I had to do myself, because if they say why is it taking so long, I'll say, well, I'm not a Photoshop guy and you made me do these ones because you didn't supply them in the correct format. And two, it allows me to know which ones are not default from them and which ones I've had to adjust to get working for various reasons. So let's say that it is HD and see what happens. Now we want to select it. Well, you have to do what I did before, click off, click back on it to get the list to update, and go to the icon, click on that login button icon. That's cool. Get rid of the text, you don't want any text. And obviously you want this button to be transparent, right? So you've got to go in and change its UI. So you've got to style its UI ID thing. So I'm going to call this button login, which makes it go like that. But then if I right click on it and go to stylize unselected, I think you have to do selected and unselected separately. Then I can go into here and I can say, well, first of all I want it transparent. Go to color, click derive transparency, alignment, click on that to derive it, and click center, and then it seems to sit quite nicely in the middle. Press enter to get rid of that. Now I'm going to add the sign up button, and we can actually duplicate this button and paste it again. Even though the UID is going to be the same, we can just change its icon on here. The sign up, I don't think I have added that in, so what I need to do is make sure that the image is ready to go into my project. Oops. And the resources we add, and then I go to my images sent to me by the designer. If I can find them over here somewhere. Where are they? There they are. And I want what's that one? Need help. We may have a button missing here. Sign up button. Yeah, we do. Luckily I have the Photoshop document and I can export that. And what I'm doing here is undoing my last stuff. I'm trying to. Okay, I'll just close that and reload it. It's not going to it's not going to undo it. Okay, I've got these layers here so I can cut this out. Zoom in on it, get as close to the edge as possible. There's no point in having wasted space, and it will also take up extra memory, especially the same amount of memory taken up by empty space, I think. I just had this conversation earlier on another tutorial. Turn off absolutely everything apart from that layer that you want, which appears to be that one. Image crop. Oh, I've already cropped it, I mean. So image saved for the web, 24-bit, because you want the transparency and you don't want the edges to look weird. Save that, and I'll save it into the root of the project with a directory we made called resources to add, and because I've had to change it myself, I'll stick it in gas processed. I'll call it Signup Button. And you go back to your Codename One designer, go up to images, quick add multi-images, Signup Button, OK, and because the other ones I've been saying are HD, let me check if it actually is kind of HD size, image size. It's not really that big, is it? But I'll just do it as HD anyway and see what happens. Now click on it, well click off it so that list gets rebuilt. Go back, change the icon to Sign Up Button. And then the last one, need help. Copy that button again, paste it. Now, do I have the need help button? I think I saw it before, right? Title, no. No, I don't think I do have that actually. Okay, so we'll add that. Quick add multi-images. Need help. Open. We'll say that's HD again. I fear I might have done that wrong. It might have just been, should be very high, but because the Raffler one worked, I thought maybe I should. Right. That sort of looks good. Of course, the layout is completely messed up. How do we fix that? Well, I'm going to take a toilet break before I come back to that. So I'll see you in a second. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is make the gap between that blue logo and the two text fields. And the text fields, by the way, look transparent there. They don't look white, which is kind of weird, but when you run them on the simulator, they look white, and depending on what version of the OS or what OS, then they will look their own way. So you can't always style them, and maybe designers don't always want that. They just mean, here's some standard text fields. This is what they happen to look like that on iOS, you know. Okay, so I've got to get rid of that text because I don't know if you can see it, but it's very dark, but it does say the word label there. We don't want that. So get rid of text label. And we want this to be sitting in the center. Can we go and change that? No. What we have to do is actually do it in the label. Now we don't want all labels to be centered, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to call this label center trans, because it's centered and it's transparent, or it will be. And then I right click on the label, style, unselected, resize the ridiculous window that comes in, go to alignment, click derive, center that, go to color, click derive transparency, press enter, and now it looks good. Why isn't it sitting in the middle? Now I'm trying to work out how you do that. I'm going to make a container for it. I'm going to put the label in the container, and I'm going to make the container a flow layout, but I'm going to tick fill rows and align center, both of them. And it looks like it should have worked, but for some reason, okay, I didn't specify the layout constraint. Well, for now we'll stick it in row 0, column 0. What does that do? I'm not quite sure why that isn't filling the width. As you can see, the blue box there represents the width of it. That should be filling the whole thing, I'm pretty sure. Okay, the label is sitting in the middle now. I guess that's a bug. The outline of that container looks wrong, but the label looks perfect. Alright. Right, I'm going to make another container to hold the text fields. Put them in there. Oh, now the logo is moved at the top. I think there's a few bugs on this edit since the last time I used it, by the looks of it. I did update today too. Right. So really what we want here, we want this holder to be not the full width and a bit further down. Well, because the login button is the same size as the text fields, width I mean, I'm going to put it in there with them, so that whatever I do to make them line up also happens to that. And I'm going to make this container, I'm going to tick fill rows on that too, and align center on that. And there I think is the same bug, always coming up, that line center bug. Is that a bug? If I click left, right. Yeah, I've noticed that years ago, and I don't know why it hasn't been fixed. This bug's been here for ages. Something to do with fill rows, I think. Yeah, don't tick fill rows. Alright, so the text fields sort of line up. They're not white, but they line up. The login button lines up. The sign up button needs to go a bit further down. That needs to be centered. I'm going to add another. I'm going to save it first because it's the sort of thing that can crash, and add another row because it looks like it might need one for the last one. Yeah, see, the last one now lines up. And what I really want is that to go to the very bottom. So, because our top is a border layout, or very top is a border layout, and that this middle one is center, if I make another container, drop it onto the form like that, and I call this container south. Make sure it is in south under the layout constraint here. It'll jump to the bottom. I don't know if you can see the blue line there, but now I can drop in the need help icon into that. Yeah, see, and it should appear at the very bottom. and we'll just make this a flow layout, which it already is, but we'll just make sure the align set the center, and there we go. That looks kind of real. Let me see if I can get this window a bit more realistically sized to the real device. That helps you design, obviously, but then you get much less space. Yeah, that's generally about the same size as what we're looking at, isn't it? Helps you work out if things are lined up, basically. And there is a feature, and if you go to theme, click on your theme, and you can actually change these advanced options here and set it up to the size you want, and it'll show you how it looks, and you can actually go through the app in this mode. But I never really do that, actually. Let's go back to the GUI builder and use it that way. Right, so that needs to be centered again. Why has that lost its centering? Because I clicked fill rows. Don't want that. Now, obviously we want this stuff to be moved into the middle, don't we? Well, I'm going to use the border layout to my advantage again. And I'm going to make one. I'm going to save it again. Not that it's that buggy, but you know, now and again undoing things and messing stuff up can crash it. Drag in a new container. And this time I'm going to call this one Container North. I often use empty containers as dummy containers for spacing. Make sure that it is in North, which it is. And I'm just going to put a label in it, just so it's got a bit of size to it. Yeah, you see how that really jumps the whole thing down nicely. You can use it as yourself as a trick, and that actually puts the thing nearly in the right place. Now that North, you've got to delete the text off the logo. But when you do that, you lose the space. Just put one space, no text, just one space. That'll keep its height and everything for you. And we're looking quite close to it working now, aren't we? Now I'm thinking this center one. I wonder if we could break that one into. Oh no, it's already a table layout, isn't it? Should it be a table layout? Could it be a box? Could it be another border layout? I don't know. We need a little bit of a bigger gap there, don't we? We need to move sign up, down a bit too. And this is a table layout, yeah. With 7 rows. So if I specify the sign up one goes into the last row, it'll go as low as possible, which you do by clicking layout constraint. If anything's in a table layout, one of them, then the grid layout is a simple version of table layout up there, but the table layout allows you to specify things a little bit better, widths and heights and positions. So if I want that to go to the very bottom, I go down there and I click that, and I go, well, column 0, -1 just means it'll be arbitrarily done, and there's 7, right, but this starts at 0, so I'll put it in the 6th row. Hasn't done a damn thing. Should have done. Put that in row 1. Row 0. Yeah. And this should be try row 1, which is where it is already. Try row 2, which has not had any effect. I'll rename that container row 1 just so we know what's going on. I'm going to rename that container, row 3, I think. Which means we can actually make a fake row for row 2 to push some space down, I think. I'll drag a container into container center, and I'll call that container row 2. And I want these ordered, so I'll just drag 1 to the top, and then 2. I think if I put something in it, it'll suddenly have some size. Or I could use the layout constraints. And let's put a label in with some text, so I'll just delete the text off the label. Just put a space. Okay, well that's a bit big, isn't it? So you can actually go to this, specify, what is it, 2? Oops, undo that. Shouldn't have done that, I don't know what I did. One is on 0, 0. Okay, so that should be 0 and 1. Now we can specify the actual height of this if we want. So I'm going to say I want it to take up. Well, that's strange. It's not working. Okay, it's working, just not in real time. That used to work in real time. I'm going to pause that because I noticed it earlier too, and I need to report that because it really makes you counterintuitive. Back in a sec. Okay, I just posted that on the forum. Might as well. The fact is I should be able to lower that height there, and it should lower in real time. The fact that it doesn't is really nightmarish, but it used to. Okay, so we're looking pretty close here. The logo and the logo are in the same place. The text fields look quite similar. The login, the sign up button needs to move a bit, doesn't it? Let's wonder how we do that. Well, we could make a 4th row first. An empty 4th row might be cool. And unfortunately, oh no, I can drag that down to the bottom one there. Go to the bottom. Okay, I'll call that. Is it row 3 or row 4? Row 4. And then I want another one for row 5. And that is where I will put the sign up button. And I'll just change that layout of the container that holds that to flow layout, which it already is, but alignment center. Okay, now I'm going to put an empty label in row 4. That should give it some depth. Yes, and knock that right down. That label, I need to delete the text apart from a space. And I think it's too big, isn't it? So I also need to change that. But now I'm wondering actually if I've just been silly, and then I should just use after row 3 there should just be one more row. So I'm going to delete row 5 actually, and I should just make sure it's in the center of that, shouldn't I? That would work. Well, that one, why is that one bigger? Row 4 should fill that. Well, let's save just in case something goes wrong, and we'll reduce the amount of rows that we actually have here because we don't need all of them. I'll put that down to 5. Right, so there's 1, 2, 3, oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we just need 4. So click on table layout. I'll reduce that even one less. I would expect the row 4 to take up more space than that. I don't know why it isn't. But we can specify here. What happens if I put 100? Is that 100% of the... whoop. Okay, that worked. 100% seemed to make it take up 100%. Yeah. Okay. If I just make that flow layout and center and align and V-align, magically it'll sit in the middle, will it? Yeah. Boom. And that will resize. So I'm pretty happy actually so far. I'm going to try it on the simulator now. So save. Go back to your NetBeans and just hit, well, first of all, kill any of your old simulators. They are slow, very slow. I should have killed them ages ago. Major drag Java simulators, but you know, it's not actually an emulator, which is good. It will run very, very fast, not like your Android emulator. Okay, so that's running. We'll have a look at it on a couple of different devices and we'll see how it looks. And that has another beauty. You can look at it on the skins that are provided by Codename One, which give you a rough guess of what it'll look like on different devices without having to actually do loads of hard work to find out. So this is a Nexus 1 supposedly, 480 by 800. We can see largely on the whole it looks good. The login button isn't stretching to the full width of that. Probably should. Well, no, that looks pretty good. You can zoom on the simulator. Let's go to 50. No, it doesn't look as good. 100. Just trying to get these screens roughly the same size so we can tell if it's messed up. Yeah, that's about right, yeah? So the first thing we can see is that the Raffler logo is far too small. Now I think that's because of the way I imported it. It was too big before, wasn't it? But I don't know. Now what I'm gonna do is delete it and re-import it, not as HD, and now I'm gonna tell Codename One very high is okay. Well, I'm not gonna delete it for sure because I can go back. I'm just gonna go quick add multi-images. Find it. And then very high. Let's say OK. I think I went to HD earlier on, I'm not sure. Click on that and select the next one. As you'll see, it's got the same name but with a number after it. See, a lot bigger. So that actually should work better. And I might have to do the same with that login button. Although the login button itself, you could argue, maybe shouldn't be an image. Let's do it anyway. I processed this one myself earlier on. Yeah, let's just say very high is fine. Click on it. Go to the next one. Ooh, very big. So why is it too... It shouldn't be able to break out the boundaries of that, should it? Okay, we want to set the width on this to about 80%. That should limit, well, it's limited everything, hasn't it? Why has it done that? Oh, it does do that. I think if I set row 1 to 100%, then actually the table will go back. Yeah. But that one hasn't been limited to 80, has it? Oh no, it has. Well, let's find out. If I set that to 20, we should notice pretty quickly. Do I have to update or something? I don't know. Width didn't seem to have any effect properly on that. How am I going to set the exact width of that? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a new UID. I'm going to call it container padded 10. No, padded on both sides. And when I style that, I'll put padding on both sides. Right click, stylize. Oh, sorry, style, unselected. Close the huge window that opens, so I'll make it smaller. Color, because it's a fresh one, it's gone untransparent again. Yeah. Padding, I think. Untick derive, and let's use screen size %. Let's knock this up to 10. This you can see in real time, which is excellent. Yeah, press enter. Now one thing you'll notice is that the login button's getting cut off. Now I think I might go back to the earlier login one. Is that going to work? That's strange that. What happened there? Okay, well that looks quite close to being working. I really hate Windows 7, look, the way you can't move things around as well, and the bits you grab are tiny. Right, that looks pretty good. I don't know, I'll try it on the simulator again anyway. Okay. That is about a good comparison. Now what can we see here? Possibly the logo is a tiny bit too big, but not really. Possibly too high now. And the login button too small, ironically. I can't help but think if the graphics were supplied properly, they would all sit in the right size. Alright, I'll swap that login button back to the bigger one. Is it a bigger one? Yeah. And I will... Well, I'm going to set no icon to this at the moment and just see if I can use scaling. Maybe that'll be wrong or cheating. But if I right click on there, style, unselected, I can use the background to make it scale perfectly to that right size, because it's going to be trouble otherwise. What's that button called? Now, because I have duplicated these UIDs, things are messing up. Okay, let's undo that. I'll give it a unique ID login button. Now it seems to have disappeared. I don't know why that's happened. And now username and password have gone onto the new line too. Because I used the flow layout. Should I use a box Y layout? Okay, the button is there, because it's got no image. Let's give it a space for some texture stick. Right, okay. Right click, style. Let's try this. It feels wrong somehow, but try it anyway. Yeah, that can't be right, can it? Can we have to do that, really? Forget all that. I'm tripping on pipe dreams. Although, to be honest, I don't really see how, unless it scales, I don't see how you're going to be able to get these buttons to sit exactly right. Maybe I'm not tripping on pipe dreams. Alright, let's just do it anyway. Okay, log in. I really want the higher res one, which was that, was it? The first one, I think. Now I'm going to try my trick from before, which I didn't really want to do, but we just want this to be no, it has to scale, really? Can that be right? No, I must be doing something wrong here, but I'm going to pause this and play around and come back. Yes, it looks like my images were too small because I said they were HD, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to import, I've just re-imported this one at the bottom, which has gone a lot bigger. I'm going to do the sign up one again, so I'm going to go to quick add multi-images, sign up, and then I'm just going to say, yeah, it's very high, and then I'm going to swap that image for the new one. Same one, but with a number after it. That's bigger. That looks pretty good. Save this. Run it in my simulator. Like I say, this stuff gets a lot easier once you get your head back around it. First few pages of the app when I come back to Codename One are always a bit struggled like this, but after a while it gets a lot better. Okay. Line these up a little bit. They're about the same. Yep. Okay. Sign up looks correct almost. Tiny bit too big. But there's not much we can do about that. Need help looks fine, although it doesn't look centered. Center that quickly before we forget. It is centered there, isn't it? Let's go button login. Unless that image itself has some gap to it. I'll have to load that up in Photoshop to find out. Make a new layer so we can actually just see what's behind it. Get that layer. I'm just going to paint it black. Computer's struggling a little bit, it's doing some stuff in the background too. Hopefully this isn't affecting the video. Never did find CS very quick. Is this CS? I'm going to pause it while it does this. Okay, came back to life a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, that image has been cut out wrong. And that is what causes all the problems. So let's cut that out neater without any wasted space. Turn off the background layer. Image. Crop. Save for the web. If you really want to save space, you can save these as 8-bit, but if you do, sometimes the edges look weird because a lot of the time, if not all the time, these things have anti-aliasing on them. Alright, we'll just save that as need help. Bring that back into my Codename One. Click Add Multi-Images. Need help. Okay, we'll consider that very high. Click on the button and change it to a new one, which is need help. Yeah, that looks better, I think. Save that. I'll just check a few other things before we do another build because it's taking a while. The login button is not centered and it's causing trouble as well. That's annoying. And the Raffler logo possibly too high and a bit too big. I don't think there's a way to scale the icons. Not without using the background scaling and stuff. Let me see if I can make this row a little bit wider. That's width 100. That's width 100. That's width 100. But that one is only width. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Okay, so by centering it, it's somehow messed up something. Change that to none, and it seems to sit proper in that. Anyway, I'm going to save that and try it on the simulator, because again,